China's rise is not an accident. It's a carefully orchestrated phenomenon that reshaped the global balance of power. While other nations debated over ideologies and economic policies, China took a different approach, an approach that we often overlook. Today, we'll explore how China became a global superpower, not through sheer capitalism or communism, but through a strategic blend of both, reshaping its destiny and the world. Other nations may have focused on specific economic models, clinging to the ideologies of the Cold War, but China dared to adapt, innovate, and evolve beyond traditional systems, turning itself into one of the most dominant nations on the planet. When we think of global powers, our minds often wander to Western giants like the United States or Europe. These nations have built their dominance on capitalist economies, driven by free markets, private property, and individual ambition. Capitalism, they argue, is the engine of innovation, where competition drives progress and private ownership incentivizes growth. On the other hand, there's the idea of communism, an ideology that places power in the hands of the state, eliminating class struggles, aiming for economic equality. The West long believed that capitalism and communism couldn't coexist. One had to prevail over the other. But China didn't settle for just one. Instead of sticking to pure communism, it began to adopt capitalist principles under the leadership of Deng Xiaoping in the late 1970s. This move was revolutionary. Deng introduced the idea that it didn't matter whether the cat was black or white, as long as it caught mice. This meant that results, economic growth, poverty reduction, and modernization were more important than ideological purity. This fusion of capitalism and communism has been one of the key drivers behind China's economic miracle, something neither the West nor the Soviet Union fully anticipated. China was able to harness the efficiency and innovation of the free market while keeping strategic sectors under tight state control, guiding the economy toward national priorities rather than pure profit. To understand China's rise, we need to dive deeper into its complex history. After the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949 under Mao Zedong, the country went through tumultuous changes. Mao's radical policies, such as the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution, disrupted the nation's economy, plunging it into famine, political purges, and social chaos. The nation struggled to catch up with the industrialized West, and by the 1970s, China was one of the poorest countries in the world, far behind its rivals. But a turning point came in the 1980s. China opened its doors to the world with the Open Door policy. Special economic zones, SEZs, like Shenzhen became hubs for foreign investment, allowing capitalist market practices to coexist with the Communist Party's control. This strategy unleashed an economic boom. Foreign companies were eager to tap into China's vast pool of cheap labor, and China, in turn, welcomed the technology, knowledge, and capital needed to modernize its economy. Meanwhile, Hong Kong, already a prosperous British colony, was integrated back into China in 1997 under the One Country, Two Systems principle. This political framework allowed Hong Kong to maintain its capitalist system while becoming a part of China, demonstrating that the country could accommodate different political and economic systems under its rule. Hong Kong's status as a financial hub played a crucial role in bolstering China's economic credibility, giving it access to global capital markets. The impact of these changes is staggering. In 1981, more than 88% of China's population lived in poverty. By 2020, that number had fallen to less than 1%. No country in modern history has lifted so many people out of poverty so quickly. China's economic reforms transformed a largely agrarian society into a global manufacturing powerhouse. Factories sprung up across the nation, and cities like Shanghai and Beijing became synonymous with wealth and development. The government's focus on infrastructure played a critical role. Massive projects like the construction of highways, railways, and entire cities allowed for the smooth flow of goods, services, and people. The scale of China's urbanization is unmatched in human history. Rural workers migrated en masse to rapidly growing cities, where they found jobs in factories and construction, which propelled them out of poverty. In 2010, China surpassed Japan to become the second largest economy in the world, and it's now a leading exporter and manufacturer. At the same time, China encouraged entrepreneurship and innovation, leading to a massive increase in personal incomes. What was once an impoverished nation now had a booming middle class eager to consume, invest, and grow the economy further. The rise of e-commerce platforms like Alibaba and JD.com alongside tech giants like Tencent illustrated the growing importance of the private sector. China's rise is also evident in the sheer size and influence of its corporations. Companies like Huawei, Tencent, Alibaba, and BYD are not only massive players domestically, but have become influential on the global stage. Huawei, for instance, has been a world leader in telecommunications, and Alibaba has revolutionized e-commerce. BYD is pushing the envelope in electric vehicles and renewable energy solutions. Yet, these corporations operate in a very different environment from their Western counterparts. In China, even private companies must navigate a unique relationship with the government. While they are allowed to operate freely in the market, the state maintains significant control over strategic industries. This state capitalist system enables the government to direct resources where they're needed most, ensuring that these companies' growth aligns with national objectives. For instance, Huawei's close ties with the government have fueled controversy and debate in international markets, with accusations of espionage and concerns about national security. However, within China, the symbiosis between the state and corporations allows for rapid mobilization and resource allocation, particularly in fields like technology, infrastructure, and defense. China's rise to power is a direct result of its policies, a blend of state control and market freedom that has driven its economy to unprecedented heights. The Chinese government, led by the Communist Party, has maintained a tight grip on key sectors while allowing capitalism to thrive where it can be most effective. The results speak for themselves: a massive reduction in poverty, a booming middle class, and corporations that rival the largest in the world. But it's more than just economics. China's political strategy, balancing international relationships while ensuring domestic stability, has allowed it to maneuver through global challenges while growing ever stronger. While the West emphasizes democracy and free markets as essential to progress, China has demonstrated that economic prosperity can coexist with political control. By maintaining strict oversight over its population and managing dissent, China has avoided the political turmoil seen in other countries during periods of rapid growth. Looking ahead, China's trajectory is poised for even greater influence. With initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative, China is expanding its reach, building infrastructure, and forging alliances across Asia, Africa, and Europe. This massive infrastructure project is creating new trade routes, positioning China at the center of global commerce and increasing its geopolitical influence. Meanwhile, the country's investment in technology, AI, and green energy will likely make it a leader in industries of the future. China is pushing aggressively to dominate sectors like 5G technology, electric vehicles, and artificial intelligence, with the goal of reducing its dependence on Western innovations and becoming the global standard-bearer in these fields. The West will continue to view China with skepticism, debating whether it is a competitor or a threat. But China's focus remains clear: to continue its ascent and solidify its position as a global superpower, not by following the traditional capitalist or communist paths, but by blazing its own trail. If you found this video insightful and want to stay updated on more engaging content about global affairs, history, and economics, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update, and join our growing community of curious minds eager to learn more about the world around us. See you in the next video.